everybody, it's a rabid raccoon. I'm feeling pretty good today. Problem is, my dog, Mickey Pickles, is going through, I think, what's called a pug midlife crisis. If you don't have a pug, pugs are neurotic little beasties. They do weird shit all the time. And I think it has to do with their heads being squished and their tails being naturally curly as they grow. I don't know. But my dog, like, he does these things where they circle round and round and round, circle round and round and round, circle round and round and round before they lay down. And when he goes outside to take a dump, he'll circle around and round, circle around and round, sniff, sniff, circle around and round, circle around and round, before he'll take a dookie. And then he walks the same parameter every single day and pisses in the same spots every single day. I am not kidding you. There is a track of worn down little paths in the same spots that he has created since we've had him. You can't mow these spots because they're already mowed down from his little tiny paws. So, lately he's been, like, he has this round bed that we gave him, and he'll lick, and he'll lick, and he'll lick around and around it. So we have to take it away from him sometimes because it stinks and his breath stinks. We actually got him, Arm & Hammer makes these dog breath strips, and I think I've told you about these before. And my husband can actually get them into Mickey's mouth. I almost said Cameron. Cameron could probably use them too. Well, these are not for human consumption, but Cameron could use the human ones. Just saying. So, excuse me. So, Mickey gets really bad breath from this. So we have to take the bed away every once in a while. And we've decided that we're probably going to find a box the same size as the box he's claimed in the hallway downstairs to lay in when we go out. It is a postal box that we piled a bunch of junk in, and he's claimed that as his bed when we leave to go to the store and stuff, because we put him in our hallway with a thing of water, and it's got blankets and stuff in it, like old sheets, and he's made it his bed. He curls up in it. He doesn't lick that. So back to the problem at hand. Last night was the worst night. This has been going on for about a week. We had taken his bed away. He won't play ball with me or anything, and we do have him on a diet, which Paul picked him up tonight and said he did feel a little lighter. I can't get him to stand on our scales. He's a pain. But, excuse me. But, last night was the worst night. We actually had to put him out of our bedroom because we couldn't sleep. We put a pair of my socks on his front paws, and we, I took a bunch of twisty ties to keep the socks on, and you know, because we didn't want to use anything that would hurt his paws. So this made this made something akin to a restraint to keep the socks on without making them tight. So if, you know, they were too uncomfortable, he could actually pull them off. This stopped the licking for maybe 10 minutes. I came out to go to the bathroom, and he was in on the bathroom rug, licking his face incessantly. So he had to get off the carpet so that I could sit down and use the toilet. And in the morning, his bed smelled really bad. He got back into the bedroom and got into his little kennel. We leave the zipper unlocked, and there's a bunch of blankets in there because that's his original bed. And I must have left the door open or something, or he pushed it open and he got into his bed. Well, when I got up, his face didn't look right. And he's always got a really clean face. If you have a dog that has a lot of wrinkles on their face, have to constantly check them to make sure moisture and food doesn't get stuck in there so that they don't get parasites or infections. And he's always had a really clean snout. Well, today his snout was full of slime, and it's never been like that. And I went, oh my God. So you can buy face wipes for dogs, or you can use, because I asked the vet a long time ago when we got him, you can use hypoallergenic baby wipes, which we keep on hand. So I got some baby wipes and I slowly and carefully, Paul had to hold him down, but I slowly pulled the folds back and started wiping around his eyes. It was all crusty, the folds near his eyes. Because his tongue is so long, he could get it up, and he was licking up there all night long. So I had to clean out all the folds around his face, and it was disgusting. So cleaned him out, and then we looked up what you could do that's humane to get him to stop licking his paws. So it said that you could rub a little alcohol, yeah, apple cider vinegar on their feet. So we took cotton balls and dabbed a little bit on his feet, and that did help. But he was still licking his face. And then he snuck downstairs to be alone because he's mad at us, even though we started giving him extra attention. And he, excuse me, he started licking his face again because when he came back up, he had the crusty face again. So I cleaned it all up, and I do have some salve balm that's for animals here somewhere in the house. And I couldn't find it, so I did after I cleaned him up, I put some antibacterial Neosporin in the folds because I am afraid that he's going to get an infection because it's almost like boogers in there. And the reason I'm telling you this is to share with you my concern, but also if you have a dog that has skin folds, I think Boston Terriers have them, Bulldogs have them. Uh, what's up, Kiki? She has her string. Oh, you got your string. She likes everybody in the house to know she's got her string. I'm always talking on here when she's got her string. Seems like the same bat time, same bat channel every time. If you have a dog or you're thinking about getting a dog that has folds, take into consideration that you're going to have to check on a daily basis their folds, and that if you have a weak stomach, you may not want a dog with folds because they can get gross. And a pug having bulbous eyes, and I think not French bulldogs, but Boston Terriers, don't they have the bulbous eyes too? If you have cats and just in general, their eyes sometimes do separate and they are in danger of, loosening as they get older. Some of their eyes do fall out. It's not really funny, but saying it sounds funny. Hear my cat? Have you got your string? Yeah? Did you show Daddy? Yeah? You got your string? Meow. Actually, I don't even know why I do that. She doesn't know what I'm saying. The row thing. Um, but if you have a cat and the cat and the dog don't get along and your dog's got bulbous eyes, they're more likely to get scratches on their corneas. So you have to really think about the type of dog you want before you get one. Um, I would not pay, I don't think. I don't think I'd pay to own a pug, um, to get one from a breeder because I believe in adoption. Um, that's where we got Micky from. We got him from the ASPCA. They cost over $1,000 for a puppy. And I would encourage people, go and visit the shelters before you adopt. Oftentimes there's not puppies, but you could give a young adult or not teenager, but, sometimes they do have puppies, but most of the time it's a young adult to a geriatric dog. You could give them a new lease on life. And adoption to me is the first thing I look for. Instead of getting, puppy mills are still out there, even though they are cracking down on them. And, some of these breeders that are supposedly reputable, a lot of the females are just constant fucking machines, you know. That's all they're born for, is to create babies. And it's really sad. That's not a life to have. So, yeah, I mean, I don't frown down upon people that buy purebreds, but I like to try to give people the idea of maybe you should look into the adoption agencies first and see what's out there. Because you may find a mutt that is nothing like what you thought you wanted to go after and find the perfect pet. And then you'll say, "What golden retriever?" And I know they need homes as well, but breeders would slow down if people started buying more and more from the adoption agencies. Just a thought. But I guess the other message I'm trying to put out there today is that more and more people should think about what type of dogs and research the type of dog that they want. Even if you're getting a mutt, if you know some of the breed that's in the mutt, research that before you go out and get one. People that purposely go out to buy a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull just to prove the fact that, oh, my Pit Bull's going to be good with my kids. I know they've been given a bad name and stuff, but there's always that chance. Just like there's always that chance with my pug that he's going to snap and bite somebody. Good luck getting his mouth open that far, but it could happen. He could snap on a dime and just rip my fingers off. If he really wanted to, seriously, he could. They still have wild instincts in them, and I don't care who so and so and what professional says what, they are still animals, and they still have that lineage in them. Maybe not pugs. They were bred from something else. I don't know. from a I don't know. From a snorkel or something. From a pig. I don't know. But seriously, it's like when movies come out, okay? When 101 Dalmatians came out, everybody wanted to go out and buy a Dalmatian dog. Okay, everybody had to have a Dalmatian puppy, and they bought them. And so many dogs were either returned or ended up for adoption because people didn't do their research. Dalmatian dogs were made fire dogs because they aren't good dogs to be left alone. They need to be with someone all the time. They are very destructive dogs that will ruin your furniture and tear your house apart if left alone for too long. So if you're a soccer mom and say you have 5 or 6 kids, your dog will be great while you're all home. But then you go away to a soccer game or a picnic or you're running here and there and nobody's home. You're going to come home with all the cushions on your couch torn apart, chewed, screen doors broken, the knobs on your or the legs on your tables destroyed. That's what you're going to come home to. People I've known have gone out and bought Dalmatian dogs, and that's exactly what happens. And it happens to a lot of people. Don't be fooled by the way they are in Hollywood movies. They're trained to do those things that they do. That's not their natural behavior. Pugs. Pugs need to be around people all the time. They get very lonely very quickly. They get very spiteful very quickly, and they start to do weird things. Like, I don't know what's going on with my pug. He is in high anxiety right now. That's the licking of the face, the licking of the paws. That is high anxiety. And I have to figure out what's going on with him. He may have to go to the vet if this doesn't stop. So I'm trying to deal with it right now unless it gets totally out of control. Because, you know your pet best. But if he starts to show signs of, real distress where he's not eating, he's not going to the bathroom, or he starts defecating in the house, or he gets open sores, that's time for the vet. He does have to go for a shot soon, so that'll be a perfect time to bring this up too. But right now it's, I think I have it under control for now. But it's still going to be mentioned when I go to the vet. So that's just, even with cats too, if you're going to go and buy a cat and, a specific breed, learn about that cat, like a Siamese cat or a Sphinx cat, those bald cats, or those, what are they, Maine Coon cats, or those, there's this one specific breed that's really wild. And I watch Jackson's Cat from Hell, Jackson Galaxy show. A lot of people that live in the city buy these certain cats that are wild, and they need a lot of outdoor play or, exercise equipment. And people work all the time and they're not home with their cats because they figure all cats are okay being alone. And that's not necessarily true. And then they come home and their house is destroyed. And then they wonder why. It's because they bought the wrong kind of cat for their lifestyle. So, you want a happy cat, you want a happy home, you want a happy family. So you've got to find a pet that fits into your lifestyle. Before we bought Micky, we did do some research on pugs and made sure that we could take care of him. I didn't realize how quirky he would be. But see, I'm home. I have the time to work with him. He's quirky like us. He's definitely lower maintenance most of the time compared to, say, a Whippet or a Greyhound or a Great Dane or something like that. I couldn't handle one of those dogs. They need exercise. They need some of them need lots of grooming. Some of them have major health problems, like when they get older. I couldn't handle some of those dogs. I'm not strong enough to. I don't have the capacity to exercise these dogs all the time. You know, if I was a runner, then maybe a greyhound would be great. If I was healthy, you know, maybe a, oh, what are those dogs? Those ratter dogs that get some type of terrier that can get in there and, you know, dig out rats. You know, stuff like that. You've got to find something that fits with your lifestyle. Um, and people don't think about that. They just fall for the cuteness. And it's easy to do, but do your research, you know, take time, go to the library. Oh, remember libraries? Or look it up online, Google it, get some books. Remember books? Don't just go with your gut and your heart. And I know that's hard to do because one time we brought home a boxer. We were going to look actually at, I believe it was golden retrievers or yellow labs. And this was actually at a breeder's, and we ended up coming up with the boxer because my husband loved boxers. We ended up, it was the worst. It was a bad decision. And I had Cameron, and Cameron was just a toddler at the time. So you know, most of the time, the responsibilities of taking care of the animals falls on the stay-at-home parent. So I was going to say mothers, but some dads are stay-at-home dads, so it falls upon the one that's home the most, which, you know, makes sense. And kids get bored really quick with taking care of the pets. So the walking, the litter training or toilet or outside house breaking and all that falls on one person. So here I was with a young baby, and I was breastfeeding and up and down with the baby. Baby takes first priority. So I didn't have a lot of time to train the dog. And I would put her or him, I can't remember if it was a male or female, outside, and not a lot of time to, you know, walk him or anything like that. And he started tearing at the gutters, the drainage things that would go down the side of the house, and he'd bite at the house and stuff. And if Cameron was on the floor and I was there, he'd try to jump over Cameron while he was on the floor. It's a good thing I was right there on the floor with him, because this was a puppy. I didn't trust him. And he was big. I mean, he was growing fast. He was a frickin' boxer. See, that was a bad choice. So I felt horrible because we spent quite a bit of money on this dog. We had all the papers and everything. And we ended up taking it to the ASPCA. Not a proud moment in our lives. He or she did get adopted very quickly because it was purebred and they got it for next to nothing. But the point is that we were very irresponsible guardians when we did that. Number one, it was the wrong timing. We should have waited till Cameron was much older where I could have had time to do both, you know, instead of concentrating on just my child where he was older and I could have taken care of both properly. Number two, I shouldn't have let my husband get sappy and beg me for a boxer. It should have been the golden lab or the golden retriever. Golden retrievers are one of the #1 wanted and best dogs for a family. Yes, that's one of the best. And number three, we should have went to the ASPCA and adopted a dog that needed a home. We should have gone and got a mutt. Sometimes mutts are the best. So that was a really hard and expensive lesson. So after that, I told him, if we ever get another dog, we are going to the ASPCA first. And then after Cameron got a little older, I think Cameron was, let's see, kind of was in kindergarten or first grade. So Xena, our first dog together, she came from the ASPCA, and she was a year old when we got her. I've talked about her a few times. She was the best dog, and we called her Mama Dog. We got her from the ASPCA, and she was the best dog. The best dog. She was a black lab mix, and we're not sure what she was mixed with, but she was thinner, and she almost had the body of a greyhound. You know, she was sleek like that. And she used to run around the yard really, really fast. And, you know, she wasn't good on a leash. She never was. But she also had abandonment issues. But I was home all the time, see? So she fit in perfectly. And Cameron was old enough so I could give both, you know, perfect attention and all that stuff. So she fit in perfectly. And then later we got Micky. So, and now we have Micky and the cat. And Cameron's 15 now. So, you know, everybody gets what they need. So I think that pets, no matter what type of pet you have, enriches your life. If you're into reptiles, you know, and you really love them, and I think people can love reptiles. When I was younger, I had those anoles, those little ones that, you know, people they kind of change colors a little bit. They're green and brown. I used to love them. I actually, when I had them, I thought they were chameleons, but they're not really. I've had hermit crabs, and I've had fish. I've had budgies, and I've had a tarantula. I've had guinea pigs. I've had rats. I've had a rabbit, which was another bad purchase. Never again. That was an impulse buy on my part, and that was bad. What else? We've had hamsters. We've had a skink lizard, and dogs, and now a cat. So, you know, we've run a gamut of different pets. And the only thing I don't agree with is people taking animals out of nature and bringing them in their homes. I know in a lot of states, like taking owls and skunks and raccoons and foxes are illegal. And when I see posts on YouTube and things like that, I do love to watch those, but I know that most of the people that are posting those, it's illegal, and that part pisses me off. Some of the rescue ones are great to see, but when you're raising a bear in your house and you're feeding him home food and you're treating him like he's human, there's a huge issue there. I hope he mauls you to death. Seriously. I hope he eats you, but then, see, then he'd get put down, and that's not fair to him, because you're a freaking idiot and you took him into your house and treated him like a human, and he's not. He was a wild animal that you found. Oh, I was saving him. No, look, okay, if he is a cub without a parent and he happens to die, it's survival of the fittest. I know that sounds cruel, but you should leave him alone. I feel that way. I really do. My heart would want to pick him up like Winnie the Pooh too, but he's not fucking Winnie the Pooh. He is a wild animal. In fact, I've been reading in the news, there's a lot of people taking in raccoons. Of course I'd love to have a raccoon running around my house. I've said that before. Oh, I'd love to have, but in reality, no. Leave them outside where they belong. Okay? Leave the squirrels outside where they belong. Leave the animals where they belong. Leave the owls outside. Unless you are a certified rehabilitation, wildlife preservation, whatever, leave the animals alone. If they're meant to survive, they will. Don't take them into your house and make them into your pet bird. Owls are predatory animals. Hawks are predatory animals. They're birds that kill mice and will probably kill your little chihuahua when they get old enough to eat. So, when they get old enough to carry it off and eat it. I hope they peck your fucking faces off. This is really a strong, issue for me. I mean, have you heard the stories about the people that make monkeys into pets and they've torn people's faces and body parts? Yeah, they're not meant to be your pets. There's a reason why they're wild. You can't completely take the wild out of an animal. Even our cats and dogs, they can turn on you, and they have. There's proof. You can never fully 100% trust an animal, even your domesticated ones. That's why I never left my children alone with the pets. I always said, like, Kenna, will you watch your brother for a few minutes? I have to go to the bathroom. If he was like on the floor playing and the dog was around, yeah, she would watch the baby. Because you don't know. You just don't know what can happen. And I know I've been talking about this for a long time, but that's something that really tweaks my petard, is when people just think that everything's like you see on TV. Like in Bambi. Oh, the mother deer makes sure that the baby gets the food. That's not how it works. If there's food and there's not enough for the baby, the mother will push the baby out of the way and eat the food. Well, little asshole, there's not enough for you too, so I'm gonna grab it all and fuck you. That's the way it is. It's survival of the fittest. There's been, I mean, I watch enough of these nature shows, and I know a lot of you have too, and you know what I'm talking about. You can't be that way. You think a lot of people think they're doing something good for nature. And a lot of people do it for selfish reasons to get a pat on the back, like, oh, look, she saved a penguin. Really? You can't really tell me that putting your penguin up to the table and feeding it gummy bears is saving a penguin. You're doing more damage to that penguin by trying to keep it in your house and feeding it gummy bears. Oh, I made it a bath and threw some ice cubes in there. And I'm giving it margaritas for lunch. Ew! Give me a break. That's, you know, I don't understand. It's like I always tell everybody I'm going to get my daughter a sloth for a baby instead of her having actual children. In theory, it's a great idea, and in my imagination, it's fantastic, but really, I see videos of people feeding their sloths potato chips. What the hell? That's not in their diet. These things eat mold off their bodies. Ugh. Well, I'm just getting really riled up now. This was meant to be a post about domestic animals and making sure that you purchase the right type for your lifestyle, and about my poor Mickey pickles. And I got it off on a rampage, which is what happens when I talk. So I'm going to close this out, give you something to munch on, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Who are you talking to?